What's going on, guys? Let's go ahead and jump right into it because I have a short period of time while all the dogs are getting a bath right now to go ahead and make this content. I was gonna upload a vlog style video that I thought was kind of an interesting just lifestyle topic. But instead, there's stuff going on in the hobby, so let's go ahead and get straight to it. So we're going to talk about in this video 151 prices, Japanese 151 specifically. The prices are dumping. There's rumors of a reprint or a confirmed reprint. I feel like everyone's jumping to make content when we don't have really the full story or we don't have the full information about how much of this product is going to get reprinted. And so we're going to talk more about that, as well as some record-setting auctions that I've been watching for my personal collection. And then we're going to talk about kind of wrap things up with the hobby health and where I think the hobby is today. So first off, pretty crazy. We know the UK is getting a reprint, and now there's talks of Japan getting a reprint. Sellers are already selling sealed booster boxes at basically some of them 50% off, some of them not much more, probably because they have the same opinion as me that people are going to absorb this product. Japanese has become a really big fad in the last couple of years. People have really dived into Japanese recently, and maybe I shouldn't be disrespecting it to call it a fad, but it's been a hype train. People have been jumping onto Japanese heavy, and it doesn't have to be a hype train. Japanese is fantastic. There's a lot to love about Japanese. I personally have just been sticking with English. That's just what I'm comfortable with. That's what I'll probably continue to collect. But I've said it before, if there was one set that I was going to collect in Japanese, it was 151. I've been ranting and raving about 151 since it released, and I think what this means for me, why is this relevant to me? Why is this informative to me? Well, because I usually don't care that much about what happens in the Japanese market. It is news, it is current events, it's relevant stuff to talk about in the hobby, but that's not really why we're talking about it. We're talking about it because I think that eventually this is going to roll over into English and we're going to get a massive reprint of English 151 products, especially with the scalping that people have been talking about. This couple that ended up, it was on Opossum's thumbnail. They basically scalped a ton of 151, which, you know, like, can you blame them? Of course, everyone's going to be buying 151. Did they have to buy all of the 151 in that store? No, I believe it was Costco. They bought out everything in Costco. Anyways, there is really, really strong demand for 151. We're not seeing this demand across all of Scarlet and Violet era. Really, none of the other sets have done tremendously well like 151 has. And this is important because we're seeing the Japanese prices come down. Does this mean something is going to hit the US? And do I think that it even makes a difference? No, I don't think it makes a difference. I think that people who are smart, that are collecting Japanese, are going to want to absorb this. It's going to be a blip on the radar, and they're going to take advantage of these lower prices, kind of like TikTok randomly doing deals. It was kind of, a lot of people were skeptical of that and maybe wanted to stay away from products because TikTok was showing that products were going for dirt cheap, but that time is over. We don't see those kind of TikTok deals, and we're probably not going to see sealed Japanese 151 for dirt cheap for very long. Right now, I think the lowest price is around 110 USD. I feel like that's around the lowest price you can get for Japanese 151 booster box, and it might not even be that low. It might be a little bit higher than that. At this point, it might be a couple days old news. So correct me on that if you feel free. Add to the content, contribute, leave a comment. Anyways, we're all learning. But I do think that is kind of irrelevant. I think that people that love Japanese and love 151 are still going to collect this set, especially all the people that are having a really tough time completing the Master Ball collection out of the set. The Master Ball cards have been really, really valuable, really sought after, and really, really tough to collect. So what this means is a lot of people probably were like, I'm never going to complete the Japanese set because there's not enough out there. This reprint will definitely be great for collectors. It will allow people to catch up with their sets and with completing those sets and maybe mastering those sets, as well as being able to open this product again on a budget and financially viably, right? Like, most people are not going to be spending $200, $180 on a Japanese booster box. The set just came out. Like, why are people already jumping on the hype train and spending that kind of money? So I think it's awesome that they did a reprint. Sometimes Pokemon needs to know when a reprint is necessary, and I think for Japanese it was necessary. I think it's necessary for English. I don't think people are like, oh, Japanese is crashing. Like, guys, let's not jump on the bandwagon here on like saying the Japanese 151 is crashing. I don't think that that's happening. I think that this is a chance for people to get in, to get a really good price on those booster boxes. And yeah, they could reprint as much as they want, but they're going to be very strategic about this, right? If the demand's there and it gets absorbed, great. They might reprint it again. I don't think they would. I think there's only so many times they're going to reprint a set. But in this case, people unable to complete the sets, product is being charged way too much on the secondary market, and Pokemon sees that money is being left on the table, and they're like, okay, it's time to reprint Japanese. Is that going to happen in English? I would hope so. I hope they bring that over here. I'm also biased in this opinion because I don't really have any 151 sealed product. I have one booster box display case that people have been begging me to open, and I've kept that as my one sealed product. Although behind me, there's a wall of ETBs and UPCs and booster bundles that I've already opened. So I want more product. I want to see more product. 151 has been so much fun in Scarlet and Violet, and honestly, Pokemon needs to reprint 151 if they want to bring that money in, because sales are way down for Pokemon Company, so they need to reprint this product. It's either when there's really high demand, or when the product is getting a really bad reputation in the community for being scalped, that it needs to be reprinted to show up the scalpers, but also to appease collectors, right? Van Gogh Pikachu was a perfect example. The card got scalped the crap out of. People paid an arm and a leg to get the card, and then it re-released in the Netherlands and became super available in Europe, and the price dumped. And that's a good thing for those of us that want more of those cards. So you can apply that to anything in Pokemon. When something is really popular, Pokemon, the smart thing to do for them would be to do some kind of re-release, reprint. Anyway, so that's exciting. It'll be interesting to see if the Master Ball prices come down a lot, or if they stay very valuable, because again, you can only get one per box. So I don't think it's going to affect prices too much, but yeah, very exciting time to be in the hobby, an exciting time for 151, an exciting time for me as a collector, because now I'm actually looking at buying Japanese 151. I'm going to be honest, guys. I really never think about Japanese, but other than my Yokohama theme deck, which is up on one of my top shelves, I really like that Yokohama theme deck, or Yokohama, however you pronounce it. But somebody said in the other video, bro, you need to drink a glass of water. I should start bringing a glass of water into my videos just while I catch my breath. It's just more and more I'm trying to compress as much as I can into videos, and I don't like editing my videos. I like them to be as raw as possible. So compress. Gotta learn how to divulge information faster. Okay, so 151 Japanese set to do a reprint. Very exciting, very cool news. If you've invested in this set or been opening it and paid top dollar, you've got some options here. One, you can double down on your investment. I think that that's the smart thing to do, since you've already been paying top dollar for the set. If you really truly like the set and believe in it, which I do, you should probably double down on it. Two, you can open more of the set. You've got your sealed collection. Now open it for fun. You know, like, everything is about sealed investing these days. Everyone's talking about sealed investing, pumping sealed investing, and sealed investments have shown and been proven to work for a lot of sets in Sword and Shield. Will it work again for Scarlet and Violet? That has yet to be seen, but 151, in my opinion, is going to be one of those sets that does really well. So while you're investing in the set, buy some to open, since the price is dumping right now. I think it's a good chance for collectors and sealed investors to get in on the action with Japanese 151. And what's more so interesting about it is that the Japanese price was way higher than the English release from MSRP to the secondary market. So there's really a lot of incentive to buy the Japanese set now, more than there has ever been. Even after the release, the set had jumped in price. So right now, I think is maybe the best time to get this set. And what's it been? January, February. What's it been, about 6 months now? Almost 6 months since the set's released, 5 months. So a lot of people have this rule of like waiting for set to be out for about 5 to 6 months until they buy into it. I think that that's a pretty good rule of thumb, and it might not always pan out. Sometimes it's just better to buy the set. With 151, I can't stress enough, in my opinion, that just if you want the set, buy as much of it as you can get your hands on. I think it's a fantastic set. I have no reason to pump it. I just love the set. But anyways, let's move forward. So let's talk about some record auctions that I witnessed recently. Very exciting stuff for Japanese 151, and I think most people are going to just end up absorbing the set. But I'd like to hear what you guys think about all the commotion, all the news on this. Is it exciting? Is it been detrimental to your sealed investments? Are you looking forward to collecting Japanese? Have you never been collecting Japanese and now you're considering it? Now might be a time to consider it. But anyways, let's get into the next part of this video, talking about these record-setting auctions that are going on right now. So there was a time where alt arts were down and sealed product was kind of sitting for a while, a little bit passive, and Grail cards that I've been going after had seemed pretty stable, not really jumping in price, but pretty stable. Well, now I'm starting to see some of these Grail cards jump in price, and it's kind of scaring me a little bit. It's worrying me a little bit because I'm unsure that I'm actually going to be able to complete these goals. I had this crazy goal of completing the entire Gold Star set, at least in PSA or BGS, just getting it in a near mint condition, completing the set. I've got my Rayquaza here, which we're about to talk about. But, and I always bring this card up. It's one of my favorite cards in my collection, but this directly pertains to this card. So some record-setting auctions. I've been seeing some of the cheaper Gold Star Pokemon cards, which we're talking about EX era Grail cards, right? The Gold Stars have been long collected and sought after by people in this community, myself included, and they're getting harder and harder to find. Now, there's actually quite a few of them on the market, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the price, and I think that that's just going to show that both vintage market is going up, singles are going to start going up, sealed product is going up. Everything in this hobby seems to be on the up and up. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I cannot believe the kind of numbers that I'm seeing. Okay, so as far as Gold Stars, I've been seeing a lot of record-setting auctions for Gold Stars. I have seen some good deals, but for all of the freshly, newly graded Gold Stars, what I'm seeing is if they're in the 8 certs, right? If they're freshly graded at PSA, usually they get a record-setting auction price. What I just saw was a PSA 9 Umbreon. This has been a card that I literally just talked about, and then the day that I was talking about it, one popped up onto the market. It popped up for a price that was less than the other options. It was $8,000 USD. I sent an offer of $5,000 based on the fact that PSA, based on the population and the price reporting and recording on PSA's website, it said that the PSA 9 Umbreon was valued at about $5,500. So I sent an offer of $5,000, coming out strong. And I was countered with a $6,500 offer, which at the time I thought, that's way too high, bro. I'm not going to pay $1,000 more than what PSA values the card at. Now, I will be honest here. A lot of times what PSA values it at and what it will sell for on the secondary market, they're two completely different things. They really aren't as correlated as people would think. Especially in my case, I thought, you know what? These are the facts. This is what it's worth. And this is what I'm willing to pay. Kind of irrelevant. If there's a buyer out there that has more FOMO than you and more hype over a card than you, they are going to pay a premium for that Grail card. And this is why I was talking about putting your money, investing into Grail cards, because even if even if you don't really want the card, even if you don't, like, it's not like your favorite, but you can still appreciate it. Some of these Grail cards are surefire ways to actually invest and make money in this hobby, which we don't want to make people hyper-focus on making money in the hobby. That's not really the objective, but like collecting sustainably and investing while you're personally collecting is a really important thing for a lot of people. And in this case, the Gold Stars are a great way to do that. I haven't finished. I'm obviously not complete with my Gold Star collection yet. So I'm racing against the clock here to finish this collection and financially make it possible. But yeah, this one slipped away from me, and I think it's important to talk about because it's not just sealed product that's moving up. It's not just alt arts that are starting to move up. It's these Grail cards too. Everything is starting to move up a little bit here. I wouldn't be surprised if junky auxiliary products that I have a stockpile of, I wouldn't be surprised if those started going up in value too. It seems like, and we're going to get into this at the end of the video, you know, the overall hobby health, but it seems really good right now. Anyways, the Gold Star PSA 9 Umbreon, they responded with a $6,500 offer. I countered at $5,250, which at this point I'm like, Orion, you're going to spend $5,250 on this card. Literally the exact amount of money I just got back for my first edition Charizard, which I did not really want to let go. But trying to figure out a way to move that profit into another card that I think will appreciate even more so than the Charizard would. And that's just mainly because if you guys don't know, the Pop Series 5 Umbreon, it is a non-holo Gold Star card, which is ridiculous because the price is so crazy to buy a non-holo card like that. But the card is so sought after, so rare, so few. There are 142 in the entire world in a PSA 9. I just lost my chance at one last night, and the other one the person wants way too much, so I can knock out those two. So there's really only 140 options out there. And for all we know, everybody that owns those cards are holding on to them and not letting go of them anytime soon because they know exactly what they have. Now, aside from actually appreciating the artwork on the card because it's very lackluster not having a holo, the same thing with the Espeon Gold Star Pop Series 5 card. But aside from that, it is an extremely rare card to find. You would have to get it from the Pop Series packs. Obviously, it doesn't come from a booster box, which means these cards are dwindling and becoming few and far between. Anyways, I sent an offer of $5,250 and I thought, Ryan, why are you doing this to yourself? Dude, just take a break. Take a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, save your money. Another one will pop up and you'll be ready to buy it and you'll be financially prepared to buy it. It won't feel like so much pressure. I feel like there's a lot of pressure in this hobby. I feel like people, you know, with all the investment talk and you got to get it now and you got to buy this before it moons. You know, there's a lot of FOMO and a lot of pressure, and I'm experiencing that just with my personal collecting journey, trying to complete the Gold Stars and the Crystals, and I haven't touched the Shinings yet, but those are going up in value. And first edition base set is going up in price again too. I'm starting to realize that like the train is starting to leave for a lot of these hard to find cards, and I just don't know what the environment is going to look like for Pokemon down the road when people are getting into this hobby and like, oh, I want to collect all the Gold Stars. Those are super sought after. And they realize that there's really no options. Like the old prices are mostly gone and we're moving up into a new norm of prices. I'm sorry. I've really strung out this these record-setting sales, but somebody bought it for $6,500. I want to say, or no, $6,250. Someone bought it for $6,250. $1,000 more than what I paid, and $750 more than what PSA reported the value at. Now, there is a price charting website that did report the value on the PSA 9 Umbreon at $7,000. So, and I think that's more based off secondary market sales. So I think based off of that, yeah, $6,250 was probably a good deal in comparison to $7,000, but for the most part, I feel like $6,250 was way overpaying for a card like that. And for the first time in a long time, I actually got a little bit depressed about it. I got a little bit more bummed out about it than I realized. Like I thought like no one's going to spend that kind of money to get this non-holo card that I really mainly want to complete my Gold Star collection. Like I want it to be legit. I want to do it right. I don't want to have PSA and CGC and BGS. I really want it to mainly be a complete PSA collection. So I was really excited about that. And what's more is that I'd purchased from this seller before and asked them, hey, if you'll work out a deal. And I'm not going to say their name. I'm not trying to blast the seller. But I was like, hey, man, I just bought a really expensive card from you not too long ago. If you would please work with me on this one, maybe we can work out a deal since I bought the last card. Like, I'm going to send a straight up offer. And I came out swinging, and it didn't work out in my favor. And so it was a little bit of a bummer. And I'm also not sure when I'm going to see another card like that again. If you guys know anybody with a Pop Series 5 Gold Star Umbreon, PSA 9, maybe even a PSA 8. I really don't want a PSA 8. But if you know somebody with a PSA 9, please DM me on Instagram. Please reach out. I am looking for that card. I am searching for that card. And I'm willing to pay a reasonable price for it. Anyways, moving forward, crazy record-setting sales. Let's talk about Rayquaza. Rayquaza, this is my BGS 9 Rayquaza. I talked about it, I think, in the last video. I talk about this card a lot just because it's very special to me. It was my first, like, big Grail card. I don't know why the camera won't focus in on it. Maybe if I get my head behind it. This is my, like, first. Why does it have an issue? I don't know why my camera is having issues focusing in on it. I'm just trying to show you guys the hollow orb in its mouth. I flex this a lot, mainly just because you just don't see a Rayquaza with a hollow orb in its mouth like that. That is just so badass to me. But anyways, mine's a Beckett 9. So of course, being my OCD self, I really want a PSA copy. PSA 9 just sold for $10,000. 10 racks, guys. This Pokemon card just sold for 10 racks in a PSA 9. Craziness. There's over 200 of these cards in the Pop Report. They're not, like, extremely rare, but I would say that the demand is so high. The popularity of Rayquaza in general is so high that this card is just popping off. Now, I will say mine is an international copy. You really wouldn't know the difference probably off of this and a US copy, but the difference is that the international copy has a little bit of a bolder color and bolder print. It looks a little bit more defined, so it's nice. I will say the PSA 9 that just sold for $10,000 was a international copy, and it was freshly graded. It was an 8 cert. Guys! My dogs are interrupting as usual. But the PSA 9 sold for $10,000. It was freshly graded. It was an international copy. But guys, when I got mine at Collecticon, this was like a $7,000, $8,000 card. The fact that it is jumped $2,000, right? The card, in essence, has jumped, let's see, 10, 20, 30%, about 30%. The card has basically jumped about 30%. Like, that's absolutely bonkers to me that the card could jump that much in price over a couple months. But now everybody with their Rayquazas is asking. Mine set at like just over 9,000, which I thought was pretty high, mainly due to the fact that I don't really want to sell the card. But now my Rayquaza in a Beckett 9, there might be a CGC copy for even less than that, like $7,000, which I think is a really good deal. If you like CGC, I would definitely grab that copy while you can. But it seems like now everyone is asking for like $11,000 for their Rayquaza PSA 9. With the last sold being $10,000, I think it's fair to say that we're going to start seeing this card go up in value, which sucks for me because I still want to get a copy in a PSA 9. But that moves us into our next segment. We have seen some absolutely record sales recently for these high-end cards. And those obviously are not the only options. I've seen several other cards like that, but I just wanted to highlight those because that's something that I personally experienced and was bummed out about. And for the first time ever, I'm actually realizing how people like myself, like I am part of the problem. I actually realize that now. People like myself come into the hobby. We shop mainly on eBay. We're not savvy with doing local deals or trade nights or buying stuff privately, which I've only recently started to do. And now I'm completely open to buying cards privately because I see how much money you can save. But, you know, people like me come into the hobby. We don't know how to shop, you know, in the safest, most savvy way and the most financially minded. So we shop on eBay and we pay top dollar for cards. Well, what that does is over time, and I've been told this and I kind of just nudge it off, but collectors like myself are unfortunately part of the problem, because we FOMO and hype into these purchases, and then we set all-time records that become a part of the statistics. And while there are some sales that people recognize as outlier sales that you're not going to see very often, like usually there's a sale price that stuff typically sells for, and then there's a couple higher prices. But with more and more collectors coming into this hobby every day, and maybe being influenced by even some of my videos, you're getting people that are aggressively buying these cards and paying top dollar for them. And, you know, I could talk about so many other auctions, but my whole point is just the premise of, you know, people are paying top dollar for these Grail cards, and they're not even thinking about what the market is or how much money they should be saving on these cards. They're pulling the trigger and they're going for it. This is the new environment that we're in Pokemon. It's been this way since pretty much the pandemic, but it's just been steadily growing from here. And I felt like it was cooling off for a while, but I think I was wrong. I think that this hobby is just growing even more. And, you know, I don't know if just the pandemic and the big Pokemon boom era, I don't know if Sword and Shield was what ignited one of the largest spikes in Pokemon history of buyers and collectors and people getting into the hobby, people trying to invest, people trying to make money. It's craziness. And that leads to our last piece of this video. No matter how much I try to compress everything, it still ends up being too long. Which is that I think the hobby health is really good right now, and I think that we're really bullish right now. I think overall, the market is just headed onwards, right? This is the reason why I've dumped so much of my money into this hobby. This is the reason why I let go of my retirement savings and, you know, pretty much emptied out what I had in liquid funds to pretty much put into this hobby. One, I was having a crisis of wanting to recapture my childhood. So there's that and the nostalgia factor of it all. But two, I saw that maybe I could transfer what I'd been doing in the stock market and what I've been trading in my active portfolio. I could transfer that to Pokemon, and this could be a new way that I get to have fun and enjoy my investments, my tangible investments. You know, actually get to hold, touch, and feel something and have it in the palm of my hand rather than just on a screen, something that I can't touch, can't control, easily manipulated. Now, that leads us into another thing that I'm going to talk about because a friend reminded me of that today. The Iron Crown, the recent Iron Crown that sold from Temporal Forces for twice what it was going for on the market. We're seeing some artificial inflation going on here. I don't know, like with the Grail cards, I think that people are genuinely buying them, but they're not even thinking about it. They're just buying it because they have the money to. But we're seeing that with these newer sets, with Sword and Shield booster boxes, Fusion Strike having a sale at $300. Guys, I think we're about to see the beginning of, and you know, I'm trying not to be too dramatic here, but I think it's something to be really excited about, both for Pokemon creators. You know, this is a part of the reason why I didn't make my vlog, my kind of lifestyle-ish vlog today, and instead I made more Pokemon-based content, because this is a really, really exciting time to be a collector and a content creator in this hobby, right? More and more now we're seeing bullish indicators that this hobby is about to explode once again. Maybe that's a hot take. Maybe I'm pushing it a little too far by saying that, but I don't know. I'm willing to call it how it is. For a while there, Scarlet and Violet felt kind of, I don't know, it felt kind of like a downer era. It kind of felt like things were going downhill. Kind of felt like people were falling off. Kind of felt like people were, you know, letting go of the hobby, getting out, too much hype, too much toxicity, too much investment talk. And now everything, all the sealed investments going up. Singles, alt arts going up. Cards that just released going up. Grail cards like this, one of my favorite cards of all time, the Rayquaza Gold Star, going up. Everything seems to be aligning to be very, very bullish. So I think the overall Pokemon market is just doing phenomenally well right now. And it's an awesome time to be a collector, but it also sucks because the stuff is only going up in price, and it's starting to feel like vintage unlimited cards and super ultra modern booster boxes and alt arts are like some of the only like financially viable options right now. It feels like if you don't have money to be in this hobby, you're just getting priced out. Like, I honestly feel like even I'm getting priced out, and I consider myself a pretty high earning individual. To feel like I'm getting priced out of the hobby, I think says a lot about the hobby in general. I think for people that don't care about vintage, like, it's kind of like, who cares? This is great news. I can buy all this stuff cheap, and one day it'll be worth buku bucks. But for those of us that are still somewhat stuck in the past and still want to collect vintage items and vintage sealed booster boxes and, Grail cards, it seems like our opportunity to get this stuff is, the time is running out. The clock is ticking. And I don't say that a lot of times for stuff because I don't want to exaggerate what's going on. But in this case, I hope that just like some of these higher sales that I saw with the Umbreon and the Rayquaza recently, I'm hoping that those are just outlier sales. I'm hoping that they're not a full indicator of what's going on in that space, because if that's what's going on, I need to freaking hurry up to grab these cards and finish what I started and set out to do, because honestly, the clock is ticking, and I always felt a little bit of FOMO buying a lot of these cards. But for all the people that told me, like, dude, like, the cards aren't going anywhere, like, if you FOMO into the cards, like, that's not going to help. Like, yes, it does mean that I am a part of the problem because I'm FOMOing into a lot of these cards. But I think that's just a part of the environment that we're in now, is that, like, you're competing against a lot of other cats like myself that want to complete sets, that want all these Grail cards, and that probably maybe even make more money than I do. And it just sucks because it just means that, like, you got to pay to play. It's really, I think, the vintage Grail cards and sealed products, I feel like it's about to be gatekept by just the highest earning individuals that are in the hobby. And that might be a hot take, but I really feel like, the stuff that I'm collecting now is about to become like the elitist stuff of Pokemon, and that, like, ordinary people are not going to be able to collect this stuff because it's just, people are buying this stuff to invest on it and put it in a safe and sit on it. Like, people are really starting to consider, Pikachu to be up there with Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, like $1 million rookie cards, right? Like, I think that that's beginning to, we're about to start seeing that in Pokemon. We already have examples of that with the illustration Pikachu being like $1 million card, $500,000 card. I don't even know what the illustration Pikachu is valued at right now, but I know that that was one of the first cards that really set the stage for, what the highest value Pokemon cards were going to be. And, with all that money going to the hobby, and with an influx of new collectors, and with this bullishness, it leads me to believe that we're going to get a lot more people that are going to come to the hobby for the wrong reasons. And maybe ultimately it'll be beneficial for the hobby, whatever. But I think we're going to get a lot of people coming to the hobby, trying to make money, trying to invest, and people with, the whales, right? There's this, there's this saying, this other, another very high-end collector that I respect a lot, and we chat from time to time. They said this, and it stuck with me. The whales have yet to come, my friend. The whales have yet to come. We haven't even seen the beginning of this. We're at the tip of the iceberg here. Like, this thing is gonna be huge in the next couple of years, I think. And the pandemic boom, that little bubble of hype and cards surging in value, right? We're seeing a slight retrace, but we really haven't seen like a large enough dump for people to really get in and get good deals on cards, right? Like stuff like the first edition Charizard, right? That was a $30,000 to $50,000 card. It dipped back down, but it's not like it ever dipped below like 16,000, right? It never even fully dipped below, like, if we're saying the median price, during the pandemic was $30,000 for that card, it hasn't even dipped below 50%, right? We haven't seen like a real crash or like Pokemon recession, so to speak. And it's amazing because I feel like Pokemon defies every other form of, investing and collectible and even maybe real estate. Like, it's it's also partially a tax haven, and we'll talk about that another time. But like in the vault is changing the game right now. Like there's so much going on in this hobby, and I think the sharks and the whales are about to start coming in, and we're gonna see a huge spike on products, especially products that everyone's talking about: Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, Lost Origin. I feel like we're going to see all of these Sword and Shield sets that have been really popular, Chilling Reign. We're going to start seeing an even bigger bubble on these things in the coming months. So that's just a theory that I have. I think that this hobby is getting too popular, too quick, actually. And maybe that's just how I'm seeing it, but these record sales are really got me messed up. I'm like, what is going on? Someone just paid $10,000 for a PSA 9 Rayquaza. You know, I know you can't feel what something is valued at, right? I use the term that, like, I feel like this card is valued at this, but truly feel like Rayquaza PSA 9 is like a $7,000 card, $8,000 card max. But the market is saying otherwise, right? The market is saying otherwise, and this is just the new environment that we're in. I feel like right now you just got to be able to pay to play. So anyways, let me know what you guys think on that. Is this hobby getting super bullish? Is it just me? Or are we all just jumping on the bullish bandwagon and everything is going to the moon? I don't know. Anyways, peace out, guys. I do want to say, I really hope that this video, I rarely say this, but I hope this video pulls in at least 30 subscribers, guys. We are freaking 30 subscribers and 1 day away from our weekly stream, right? We want to be at 5,000 subscribers tomorrow night. By tomorrow night, we want to be at 5,000 subscribers. We got our 151 UPC in the mail from Amazon. I'm really excited because that was only $90 for the UPC, so I'm really excited. I'm hoping maybe we get another big reprint in the US and we could even see 151 English UPCs at 70 or 80 again, like on TikTok. Probably not likely, but that would be epic. But guys, please, if you enjoy this content at all, I never ask this. I never ask it. I never beg. I never plead for people to subscribe or like my content. People do that on their own organically, and I appreciate that. But please, for the love of God, we want to hit 5,000 by tomorrow. We only need 30 subs. We got about 20 last night. We need 30 subs to hit 5,000. And once we hit that goal, we are opening a base set heavy pack. Guys, I'm actually itching to open up this pack, so I'm really excited because it's just going to be so epic. We're going to open 151 Modern and a base set pack. Oh my God, it's going to be epic. And it's a base set heavy pack. Let me just clarify that. It's guaranteed to have something. Again, jokingly, might have Poliwrath, might have some BS, you know, might be Hitmonchan. I actually like Hitmonchan, but might be way lower value than what we need. We really need one of the starters. That's what we're going to gun for. If I could pull Charizard, that would be like one of my absolute childhood dreams, and one of my goals since I started this channel would be to someday pull a base set Charizard myself. Even if it's unlimited, doesn't matter. It would still be an epic thing to pull. And if you get a 10 and a base set unlimited Charizard, that's a $10,000 card right there. Which again is kind of crazy. It's base set unlimited. How is base set unlimited Charizard 10 grand? I have heard people opening tons of base set unlimited boxes and getting PSA 9 everything. So I do think the odds are still very against me, but if we could just pull that card at all, would be absolutely insane. I would be beyond happy with that. Anyways, guys, please subscribe, share, like, just for this video, please, at least, so we can hit 5K and have an epic stream tomorrow night. We're going to open Modern, we're going to open Vintage, we're going to chill and hang out. It's going to be fun, guys. Like, no matter what we pull, tomorrow is probably going to be the best live stream we ever have. And I'm probably going to do a community post again today, but I already did one on the base set opening, so maybe not. But maybe I'll just do another post that's just, hey, guys, just a reminder, please come out for the live stream tomorrow. Show some love. hit the subscribe just this one time for the channel, just so we can hit 5K and be done with finally hitting a 5K milestone, move our way on up to like 7.5, which I think what I'll do from here is at 7.5, we'll open another base set heavy pack. And then at 10K, we'll open another base set heavy pack. Really depends what we pull on these first packs though. So anyways, guys, have a fantastic day. And now I'll catch you on tomorrow's stream. Peace.